back when Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister, this country has run out or run low on coal, and Poland, back then a socialist state of Poland, has been the one to supply coal to the UK. So there's an energy partnership there that's lasting many, many decades. In recent years, there's obviously an element of Poland seeking to modernize its energy supply over the years. It's seeking to build nuclear power plant. It's seeking to transition away from fossil fuels. It's massively expanding wind power generation facilities, especially in the Baltic Sea. Those are technologies and those are specialities that the UK can definitely help Poland with. So Poland will be seeking to engage UK businesses in that area, seek that expertise that the British can provide.
So Keir Starmer visiting Ukraine yesterday. Today, he's in Warsaw to begin talks on a new UK-Poland treaty with the Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk. It's designed to protect Europe from Russian aggression, tackle people smuggling gangs and combat misinformation and cyber threats. We can speak now to Bartosz Kielak, who is a Polish journalist based in London. Morning to you, Bartosz.
Good morning to you too.
So what do we know about this new UK-Poland treaty that is being talked about today?
Well, it's definitely a security pact. It seeks to bolster the cooperation between the two countries in areas of defense and security, targeting Russian threats and the Belarusian threats, which are very much real. These threats relate to cybersecurity first and foremost, but also considering reports that we had in the last couple of weeks, especially ones describing, burning parcels in delivery centres in countries like Germany, UK and Poland. It will seek to target those threats as well.
How important is the relationship between Poland and Britain?
Well, it's definitely important to Poles. Historically, there's been quite a sizable population of Polish people living in the UK, which has arrived here over many decades after the war and after after Poland joined the EU. So in terms of that, it's absolutely vital preserving, the livelihoods of people who have moved to this country. Obviously, it's been a slightly different story the past couple of years. There's been a lot of people returning Poland. That's one thing. The other part is obviously that both UK and Poland are NATO countries. UK has a vital role in collecting intelligence in protecting the North Sea basin, whereas Poland is very much on the NATO's eastern flank. In that capacity, the UK and Poland have been engaging for a long time. There's been British planes stationed in Poland. Both countries have participated in wars in the Middle East. And in recent years, we've seen both countries working very closely together, training Ukrainian soldiers on the ground in Poland. So that's really important. And obviously, what we've observed in the last year was a drive among European leaders to form some sort of an alternative to NATO because of fears related to Donald Trump moving into the White House. Britain hasn't been particularly keen on that. So wasn't Poland. Poland's investing heavily in defense, like 5% GDP spending, and in a situation where UK doesn't really want to get involved with an outside initiative, an initiative that is separate to NATO, working closely with Poland is some sort of an alternative to that.
I'm interested as well in this of the idea of smashing the criminal people smuggling gangs and the UK and Poland working closely together on that. What role does Poland have in that? Because many people will hear that and they'll think, well, most of the illegal small boat crossings are obviously coming from France. So how does Poland fit into the picture?
Well, that's a curious one and one that's really struck my attention when reading about today's visit. I think it closely relates to the Belarus border migrant crisis of late 2020, if I remember correctly, just before the war in Ukraine started, a couple of months before that. We had this major escalation on the border with Belarus. We saw thousands of people trying to cross into the EU, into Poland. It has now universally been deemed that the events of that time as exactly an attempt on destabilizing the EU, a sort of a hybrid war that Lukashenko, the leader of Belarus, and Putin have been waging in Europe ever since. And at that time, UK media, Sky News and other UK media outlets have reported that some people arriving on the beaches of Calais have indeed traversed into the European Union using that border, that massive forest that separates Poland, Belarus, Lithuania and all those other countries. And Donald Tusk is not particularly keen on migration level in the EU. That's been part of his rhetoric. He's been pushing for migration reform within the EU. So is Keir Starmer. It's a big part of any political party's manifesto in the UK, dealing with migration. Obviously, there's no dealing with migration if you do not engage constructively with the EU. I think that's what the two men will be trying to do.
And what about securing energy supplies, which is another priority, which clearly is important in light of the war in Ukraine and how it's really pushed up energy prices in this country? How is that going to work with Poland?
Some of us might remember, I certainly don't because I wasn't alive, but back when Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister, this country has run low on coal, and Poland, back then a socialist state of Poland, has been the one to supply coal to the UK. So there's an energy partnership there that's lasting many, many decades. In recent years, there's obviously an element of Poland seeking to modernize its energy supply over the years. It's seeking to build nuclear power plant. It's seeking to transition away from fossil fuels. It's massively expanding wind power generation facilities, especially in the Baltic Sea. Those are technologies and those are specialities that the UK can definitely help Poland with. So Poland will be seeking to engage UK businesses in that area, seek that expertise that the British can provide.
Bartosz, thank you so much for explaining that to us. That's Bartosz Kielak, who is a Polish journalist based in London, speaking to us about that trip that Keir Starmer is making today. So he's been busy. He was in Ukraine yesterday. Today he's going to Warsaw. He's going to begin talks on this new UK-Poland treaty. And very interesting, the idea of tackling people smuggling gangs with Poland. It's not something you would automatically think of, but Bartosz explaining that for us.
Keir Starmer abroad again, eh? Goodness me.
Great relationship between our countries that we can strengthen and deepen as we go forward. A real moment of reset across Europe for us to be able to host today is really important to me. That's why I said what I said this morning about a reset and the way in which we intend to work. So it's a very good opportunity to have that. To talk to you personally and to deepen the relationship between our countries.
Thank you.